excited to be here tonight?
Because I'm just excited.
Yeah. No other explanation. Now, I do believe, tell me the truth, is it true that your dad has a ringside seat but didn't get you guys ringside seats?
That is true, but it's because of his YouTube channel, okay? It's his YouTube, okay?
Her dad's an influencer. Let him go, guys. But your dad's awesome, right?
Yeah.
See, he's awesome. Yeah! Give it up for Claire. Thank you so much, Claire. High five.
Can you believe that there are some people in this world that did not tune in to the Alliance Vlog podcast? Shame on you! Shame on you! My name is Ella Envy, and I'm one half of the NWA Women's World Tag Team Champion, and I'm PPV Paige, the other half of the NWA World Women's Tag Team Champion. And you better go listen to the Alliance Vlog, what is it called again? Podcast, period. You're ugly. Period. Pretty and power approved.
Well, that's two of me. Welcome to the pre-party, a presentation of Alliance-Wrestling.com, your number one source for news and information for the National Wrestling Alliance. My name is Jay Callen. Each and every Tuesday, even when I'm on vacation, I come to you, that hashtag NWA fam, to talk all things NWA as we approach hard times, daddy. And just like the hard times that Cody Rhodes faced in the last year, and Cody went on to win the WWE World Championship, I'm here to tell you that the Alliance Blog is here, daddy, from the hard times to bring you the NWA news and information. And maybe one day we will win the championship together. All right, guys. So I see a couple of you already in the chat, and man, we have such a it surprises me how many of you watch the show on X, formerly known as Twitter. We prefer you on YouTube, but we'll take you any way we can get. Of course, jump in the comments, leave your comment as we are live streaming. We will try to get to all the comments and read them on the air. Of course, Steve G's in the house, and our boy Steve G says this: J-Cal, hopefully POWERRR will return to YouTube. I don't particularly like CW, and I think it's going to hurt wrestling, and already has. You know, as long as the check keeps cashing, I think Billy is quite happy to be on the CW app, and under some very unfortunate circumstances because of the limitations for the international audience. Also, it has derailed News, which has turned the signature live events into essentially what are just now TV taping episodes. So it did kind of downgrade the product slightly. The other side effect too is with Tuesday, it's no longer destination. It's no longer we're all tuning in to watch the show at the same time. It is now on your schedule, which for some people is great. For me personally, I kind of like having it at the 6:05 start, or 3:05 out here on the West Coast. But yeah, it's unfortunate that it has misaligned so many fans and has prevented some people from watching the show. Our very own Tim Wood has basically given up on the NWA because, well, they haven't made it easy for him to watch it. So what's the point of even trying at this juncture? So and I see Big Chris Dog, who jumped in and said, hey, YouTube is a sustainable business model. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Look, the beauty of the internet is that it's access to everyone, and YouTube is very much an opportunity to voice an opinion, to voice a product, to showcase. But at the end of the day, there are more lucrative avenues to be in. But that doesn't mean that it's always the best decision. Now, again, if there's a higher demand for pay-per-views down the road, if in September, CW is going to become one with the NXT program. So when that happens, will that change the dynamic of which they promote wrestling on the channel? Will the NWA still be invited to participate? You know, this might have all been an experiment to see if they could make wrestling work on the CW. Now, obviously, with the machine that is the WWE behind them, of course, they're going to have people watching on the CW app, people watching on the CW channel. But the thing that I am curious about is, will there still be room for the NWA come September? And if they have to make a different decision or go in a different direction, how will that disrupt what is already happening? Will we see a return of pay-per-views come September? I mean, there's so many things, so many moving pieces. I don't really know. And again, this is all speculative, right? Because I wasn't in the boardroom with Billy Corgan and the executives from CW, so I don't know what that contract ensues and what is said in that contract. You know what I mean? It's nothing. All we can do is speculate about it. Mike's in the house. Willie Bowen with his Rolando joke of the day. When Rolando Freeman taps his waist, he's signaling for a diaper change. That's pretty shitty, Willie. Sorry. Just going with the theme there. How come the King Beez doesn't get a promo? They are the NWA World Tag Team Champions. That's an excellent question, Willie. One that's I'm not really qualified to speak on. I don't really know why they haven't been given more promo time. I do believe they were featured on an episode of This is the NWA podcast that Gary Horn with Danny Deals and Joe Galley and Kyle Davis. I believe they were on an episode before they challenged for the World Tag Titles, and I think this was prior to them winning the titles. I don't know that Pretty and Powers had their own episode of This is the NWA podcast, so I don't know if they're just trying to spread the wealth. I can't really say for sure. WrestleMania was good, but UWN was way better. You know, I always try to catch the highlights of WrestleMania. I try to go back and watch it. I have Peacock. It's not like it costs me anything extra. I would have Peacock so I can watch The Office. But with that being said, Cody winning the world title was very gratifying. As somebody who got behind Cody back in 2000, 2018. It was great to see Cody fulfill that story, and it's the legacy that's tied to Dusty. Of course, it has ties to the NWA. You can't not acknowledge the connection between Cody and the NWA. I thought it was very classy that the NWA even tweeted about it. You know, he is a former World's Heavyweight Champion. In fact, he defended the title in front of so many people at the 70th anniversary show in Nashville, Tennessee. He won the title at All In, which, let's be honest, that was the main event of All In. It wasn't billed as the main event, but that had everybody watching, and including this modern era of NWA fans who were championing Nick Aldis. I mean, that was the biggest match of Nick Aldis's career as NWA World's Heavyweight Champion. There was not a match even close to that. So I will never discredit what Cody meant to the NWA, and it was really gratifying to see him win the world title. Lamb, I am in Arizona. Personal business, personal kinda. It's for my kids are on spring break, but we're also getting ready to make some big moves out here for Buckets for Rent. Not that that's really relevant to this show, but you know, that's why we're here. Jeremy reminds you, and I appreciate that, Jeremy. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share it with your friends, random strangers, your neighbor. Help make this monster grow. Hey, man, my wife said that I can buy a Trophy Smack title that says 5,000 subscribers once we hit that milestone on YouTube. We are over 3,600 now, 3,700 now. You guys have made this channel grow. It's all the appreciation in the world to you guys. We'll see how it goes. In fact, being that I'm in Arizona, I literally left the Lego Discovery Center so I could be here with you guys. My wife and kids are still playing with Legos. You know how much I love playing with Legos? J-Con, let's be real. NWA fans wouldn't want to pay anyway. AEW and TNA have paid content available on it, but would NWA fans do it? What? That's entirely not accurate. NWA fans were paying for the content. Was it a large amount? No, but let's also look at the quality of the content. I love the NWA, but come on. We were paying $60 a year and got all the pay-per-views for free. That was a no-brainer when they were on Fight, and that was open to all audiences. Sure, I didn't mind paying for that. And when they canceled it and we had to go back to paying for pay-per-views, I bought all but like maybe 1 or 2 pay-per-views. I'm not saying that everyone is going to follow suit, but also the quality of the content has to be so much better too. Let's see. Roswell's in the house. What's up, Roswell? Timmy Gold. That's my best buddy right there. I miss you, Tim. I miss seeing your face on the streams. I miss you, man. I wish you were coming to Philly. I would buy your ticket, but I can't afford to buy your airfare. So I feel the international fans of the NWA, but if they can't give you something to watch, move on. There's a lot of phenomenal promotions to watch. And yeah, and look, I think that's what a lot of people are starting to do. United Wrestling Network content is not region coded. Major League Wrestling is available to everybody. There are other options, and that's fair. DK, I'm going back to the CW app. Yeah, I don't think it's a 1-year deal, but I don't know. I mean, none of us really know. We're all just speculating. It would make sense to be a 1-year deal for the CW in that once they land the WWE, what's the guarantee that they're going to still want to promote the NWA? Yes, but now you're paying for the content, the same thing. And the WWE has a lot of clauses in their contracts that kind of prevent other wrestling companies from working with them. Now, obviously, if the NWA remains on CW while the WWE is also on CW, it certainly does a lot to quiet those words about the monopoly, about how the WWE is using predatory tactics and things like that. And especially when it's a company like the NWA, who at this point in time doesn't really pose much of a threat to the WWE machine, right? Like this wouldn't be AEW, this wouldn't be TNA wrestling, this would be, a much smaller down the scale promotion. So who knows? But I don't know where it stands and how long the contract is. Roswell says, go back and watch the latest UWN. Yeah, man, it was. I've been at the live events for Championship Wrestling. I record. I recorded. I've taken photos and some clips too. I really feel like they're at another level right now. Bad Dude Tito and Che Cabrera as tag team champions. They are phenomenal. I really enjoy them. I hope that somehow they participate in the Crockett Cup. And you see Bad Dude Tito showing up everywhere, but he is in major angles with the United Wrestling Network. You've got Danny Limelight, who we speak ad nauseum about how great of a talent he is, always goes above and beyond to put on a good match. He's wrestling people we've never heard of and making them look great. So I always give props to him. And then, of course, Zicky Dice has returned. He's the new Heritage Champion. I think he's walking around the TV title as well. Just a lot of fun stuff right now in the United Wrestling Network. I highly recommend it. Aldis and Cody at 70. Yes. Now that match is still available on Triller, by the way. It's still available because that was produced by Jeff Jarrett, not the NWA. Likewise, the All In is also available on Triller because that was produced by TNA, not TNA, geez, AEW or Ring of Honor. I don't even know what it was anymore. Got footage from Turnbuckle and Reality Wrestling this week. Yeah. And that was done with intent. They didn't film in April. Sorry, they didn't film in March. They filmed in late February. Going back to United Wrestling Network, and there's a lot of tools in the what's the expression? There's a lot of things cooking right now for Dave Marquez and the United Wrestling Network. There could be some really cool things that come out of some deals that he's working on. I know there's something big happening in Texas. Obviously, we see the working relationship with Reality Wrestling and Championship Wrestling. I know that he's there's a lot of stokes in the fire. I think that's the phrase. And you can watch it online. I believe it's at Memphis Wrestling. But if you type in United Wrestling Network in YouTube, you'll find it. I'm trying to keep up with all you guys. Let's see. Or Jay, I'm thinking about buying the Lego flower stuff. They had those at Costco, and I did jump on them, but I wanted to, and they were actually pretty cheap at Costco. But and DKM brings up that, hey, Con supposedly wants to work with others. I never quite understood why they didn't. And going back to developmental days when we had Ohio Valley and Deep South Wrestling, even out here in Southern California, we had UPW, and all of these promotions had a loose affiliation with the WWE. D-Fed, J-Fed, Z-Fed, whatever. They were all kind of connected. And so when we talk about that, we talk about Nick Khan wanting to work with other promotions, like a promotion like the WWE. The promotion like the NWA, or even to a lesser extent, Night Wrestling Network. Why not have a pipeline to a place where talent is being kind of discovered? They don't necessarily have to come in and poach everybody, but like a guy like Silas Mason, we all see the greatness that is the Thrillbilly Silas Mason. If you're telling me that the NWA and the WWE can work out some sort of deal where, yes, he gets groomed for greatness in the NWA, maybe they even put the title on him for a bit, and then he fades into NXT or does both simultaneously for a while before getting called up to the big time, that would make a hell of a lot of sense to me. I think that would be a very smart business decision. And there's guys like, look, I know that some of you guys are iffy about Kerry Morton, but I think he's way skilled, very good wrestler, Kerry Morton. And I think his attitude and demeanor, I think, would fit in with like an NXT and maybe a SmackDown run at some point. But it all has to build up. It all has to kind of get those opportunities. And so if Nick Khan wants to work with the NWA or the United Wrestling Network or MLW, all that's a smart idea, a smart business decision. And I just want to thank everyone who's watching the chat. I see you guys popping in. I will get to your comments, but I see Jammin' Music Man's here. I see Paladin's here. What's up, everybody? Thank you for joining the show. Some fans would say bad things about WWE, but as soon as WWE sends talent to their favorite promotion, they're well, I can't say that, Lamb. But yeah, I mean, like, look, right now in NXT, you have a tag team that are known the world around as quality tag team champions, Carl the Machine Gun Anderson and Luke Gallows. Now, if you're telling me there was some sort of working agreement between the NWA and the WWE that perhaps maybe the Crockett Cup, you get the former IWGP, former TNA, former WWE World Tag Team Champions in the Crockett Cup, and we're talking Carl the Machine Gun Anderson, we're talking Luke Gallows, and you put them in the same ring as Murdochs, you put them in the same ring as Blunt Force Trauma, you put them in the same ring as the Immortals, Odinson and Kratos. Damn, that'd be pretty awesome. That would be awesome. And you can kind of marry things, right? Because they're right now, currently the WWE through NXT has the Dusty Cup. That's a tag team tournament, not unlike the Crockett Cup. What if you put all the talents that are in the Dusty Cup and put them on one half of the billing, and then all the teams that are in the Crockett Cup? The winner gets a shot at the NWA World Tag Titles. That'd be kind of cool. I don't care who you are. I think that'd be kind of cool. So yeah, I mean, look, I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm not saying that any of this is in the works, but just opportunities. These things don't happen when everyone is isolated, but when everyone starts working together, that forbidden door that is copyrighted by Tony Khan. But we just saw TNA's Masa Slamovich wrestle against the WWE's Shayna Blazer. I can't say her name. I don't know. Those two just wrestled in a GCW ring during WrestleMania weekend. Like, there is the WWE's I can't remember his name, but what's his name? William Regal's son also was in that. In New Japan Strong's, Royce Isaac was there. I mean, you can do this. You can use your talents. There's so many guys in the WWE roster that aren't doing a whole lot right now. There's so many guys everywhere that are doing a whole lot. Charlie Dempsey, thank you, Lamb. I see your guys' comments. I'm just way behind. I will get to all of them, I promise. Let's see. CM Punk is a trauma queen. Yeah. I don't think Punk is a drama queen. I like CM Punk. Let me get to some more of your guys' comments. Roswell says Latimer for the NWA National Champion. I'm with you on that. I think Latimer is a guy that the NWA needs to do something with him, and they need to do it fast. Everybody has an expiration date. Everybody has a time that they are going to either no longer be good at wrestling, they're going to be too old, or someone else is going to come pick him up. And if the NWA doesn't pull the trigger soon with Tom Latimer, he's either going to expire or get picked up somewhere else. And I don't mean expire like die. I mean just he's not going to have the heart for it anymore. Look, Camille has not stepped into a ring since her last NWA match. I haven't seen her anywhere. Not in the AEW, not in TNA, not in Mexico, not the WWE, not NXT, nowhere. She might be done. I mean, it's a shame if she is, but she might be done. The King of All Evil era. That would be all right. I'm all right with that. Paladin says, thoughts on TK releasing the Cancer Punk footage? That's reeks of desperation, but I get it. I don't know. To me, it's like the more you advertise that you had Punk and let him go, the worse I think it looks for you. You know, Paladin, I know you enjoy AEW, and I'm not taking anything away from that. There's parts of AEW that I enjoy. My favorite wrestler of all time is the AEW World Champion, Samoa Joe. So I don't have any beef with AEW, and I really feel like Tony Khan gets a bad rap a lot of these times. But I feel like when you talk about CM Punk, that guy was selling merchandise and moving tickets, and you fumbled the bag. You had a guy who could compete with Cody. You had a guy that could compete with Roman Reigns. He wasn't the best wrestler, but he sold tickets. People wanted to see him wrestle. And now he's selling tickets. And I mean, he's not wrestling at the moment, but he's selling merchandise for the WWE. That's your direct competition. I think that was such a fumble. If you told me that you picked Jungle Boy over CM Punk, or like if that's what it came down to, you fumbled the ball. I know there's a lot more pieces to it. And okay, so let's see it. Let's see CM Punk choke out Jungle Boy. Let's see Samoa Joe bitch slap CM Punk. I'm all right with it. I don't care. I just don't think that's a smart business decision. Steve G says, I wish David would bring back Georgia wrestling. He's got his hands on a lot of things, and don't be surprised by anything. None of it might happen. I consider myself a friend of Dave Marquez. Dave and I have known each other for well over 10 years, maybe even closer to 20. Maybe 20 years. And at least 20 years. And the thing about Dave Marquez is the guy has never stopped. He might slow down, but he's never stopped. And I could definitely see Marquez popping up in multiple places. He's always had something in the works. Does it always work out? No. But I could see something big happening. Supposedly, Paul wants to fade out sports entertainment and go back to pro wrestling. I think that's a smart deal. I think you have to. You have to. Sports entertainment only gets you so far. It's funny how everything that Paul's doing right now in the WWE seems to be getting such notoriety, people are clamoring for it. Their ratings are through the roof. They've never been hotter. WrestleMania had a feel-good moment. Like, there's elements of sports entertainment that 100% work for the WWE, but pro wrestling is what people are clamoring for. Pro wrestling is what people want. And I'm just trying to get to everything. Willie says, WWE is cutthroat artists. They will deplete the NWA talent roster. That's for sure. Look, they will take every single person off the roster who they see that's valuable. But that's where Billy needs to have a backbone and figure something out, lock these guys up under long-term contracts, and then have the WWE buy them out. That way that they're making money on the talent that they're creating. At some point, all of these guys are going to leave the NWA. No one's going to stay there forever. Nick Aldis was the only guy that I could have seen staying in the NWA forever, and he didn't. So, if EC3, if the WWE came tomorrow and said, hey, we want EC3, if he's not under contract, he can go. And what's really stopping him? You know, if we're all working for the weekend, we're all working for a paycheck. You know, Billy can't compete with what the WWE offers. He just can't. The smaller ones would benefit from a partnership. For WWE, it's just a different kind of scouting system. 100%. Exactly. WWE can't play with others. They buy them up and shut them down. That's what Vince McMahon used to do, Paladin. We're in a different era now. It's clear that this isn't your dad's WWE. This is very, very different. And like I said, we're in uncharted waters. They had, okay, granted, Vince was still around, but they brought in Mickie James, who was TNA champion at the time, right? They brought her in. Then last year at the Rumble, they brought in, or this year at the Rumble, they brought in Jordan Grace, who was under TNA contract. You know, and that's happened now like 2 out of the last 3 years. I wouldn't be surprised if that opens the door for something down the road. Would love to see WWE send Finn Balor to the NWA. Hey, he's a former NWA British Commonwealth champion. I would love to see Finn Balor in the NWA. He would, like, look, he's not the guy that you're going to put the belt on in the NWA because that's a contrary of the division. Like, WWE, the NWA is home of the super heavyweights. You know, EC3 as world champion is the smallest world champion we've had in a long time. But with that being said, you know, Anderson Gallows to me, I think would make a lot of sense. If the WWE were to deplete the NWA roster, at least their roster would be making better money than exactly. Charlie Dempsey would be awesome to see in the NWA. Yeah, I mean, why not? That was one-off special cases. It's not going to be a regular thing. Paladin, I don't think you can predict the future, man. I don't think you can speak for what Triple H is willing or not willing to do. You got to remember, too, back in the days, it was not unheard of for the WWE to send talent elsewhere. I mean, look, ECW, Al Snow was under contract. Al Snow was under contract to the WWE when he started the whole head thing in ECW. They had working agreements with All Japan Pro Wrestling where WWE tag teams would go to Japan. They brought in Lucha Libre stars from AAA before the whole ECW started doing it back in the early 90s. They even had a program for a brief time called Super Astros, which was about having a mix of the WWE talent with the AAA Lucha Libre talent. So you can't really predict what they're going to do. And I think it's a fool's game trying to do it. Why? Just to sit back and enjoy the show. If you don't like the WWE, that's cool. Like, I know Willie Bowen doesn't like WWE. Cool, man. A lot of us don't. Last night was the first time I've watched a Raw, and I only watched about half of it in probably 10 years. And, you know, what I saw, I didn't hate. Got to see John Cena. If WWE talents get injured in an NWA ring, would Billy pay the monthly wage for the time the talent is injured? No, he wouldn't. He would beg for more talent so he gets the chance. Yeah, I mean, like, I think, you know, if it's the WWE sending talent, then I think the WWE talent would be responsible. But also, like, again, it's I don't think the NWA matches are like WrestleMania matches, and I'll just say it like that. Then let the big guys get down, the Dain event and a few others. Right, Rodsville. Right. I like the Dain event. And yeah, the only thing I've heard about Camille DK is that she's got a YouTube channel. Yeah, Paladin Camille is on YouTube. She just did a video visiting an arcade. Yeah. Paladin says, no, hey, dude, I hope it will show why TK thought his life was in danger. Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't think we're going to see anything like, I don't think we're going to see anything that's going to make him look like his life is in danger. I think that was an overreaction. And I don't know what Tony is thinking. Like, he put out this thing where the boys missed some dates, and then they had receipts saying that they didn't. I mean, it's all he said, she said stuff. I don't know. Like, again, I don't have anything against Tony Khan. I don't have anything against AEW. I hope they figure it out. I want them to succeed. I want AEW to be around. I don't think you guys understand. Like, it was so crappy when it was just the WWE. A lot of you guys remember, but, like, you know, the reason why the NWA was so successful is because initially because there wasn't a lot of competition what was happening with the WWE. You had TNA, which was being ran into the ground with Dixie Carter. When Billy left, to start the NWA, it was something different. It was radically different. And then when AEW picked up and everyone else started picking up, like, wrestling is at an all-time high. Maybe AEW isn't the most successful promotion out there, but in terms of just people getting a payday, they're paying more talent than almost anybody, maybe even more than the WWE. So I'm all right with it. There is a current reboot of Georgia Championship Wrestling. Yeah, that's a company with Coastal Championship Wrestling. And again, nothing wrong with that either. I'm all for it. TK should focus more on the football club Fulham. There's a lot more money in soccer than football, or soccer than wrestling. Yeah, that's 100% true too, Lamb. Like, he does wrestling because he loves it. At some point, people are going to piss him off enough where he's to say, fine, I'll close it down and I'll just go make more money doing soccer and football than wrestling. And a lot of you who are out there who are nitpicking AEW and calling it garbage and all that will be very disappointed when it's just the WWE again. He does wrestling for the love. He doesn't care if he loses money. Exactly. I'm missing some of your guys' comments. I'm trying to get to all of them, so please be with me here. Triple H is Vince McMahon personal string marionette. I don't think so, Willie. I hear what you're saying. I don't think so, man. I think it's a different dynamic. I think Triple H and Nick Khan are running the show, and I think Nick Khan is a shrewd enough businessman to be like, all right, Trips, what do you need? Let's go. And I think that's what's happening. Maybe I'm wrong. Not so different. Steph has been named know what her father did and covered for him. Yeah, I mean, look, the shoe could drop at any minute, right? The shoe could drop any minute, and Triple H can be gone. Stephanie's not even in official capacity with the company as of yet. She stepped down from her position as a co-CEO, like, when Vince came back. So we don't know what's going to happen. There's a lot of litigation going on, a lot of lawsuits happening. Vince McMahon has been liquidating his TKO stock. I mean, he's de-investing quickly. He's probably getting up paying a lot of hush money to make all this stuff go away. If he'd have just done that the first time, it would have made sense. Let's see. Paladin says, also, where's HBK? Never hear about him anymore. HBK is running NXT. Like, he's pretty much autonomous running NXT. It's like his baby. Lamb says Triple H has a history with sending talents to different promotions like Evolve, Noah, New Japan. It will be fine. Yeah, exactly. Let's see. AEW is needed as the professional wrestling world's counterbalance to the WWE, at least stateside. Yeah, and I mean, look, again, think about all the talents who are currently under contract to AEW. I mean, if I spent the next half hour listing everybody who was on the payroll for AEW, I mean, I could easily fill that time just listing wrestlers, right? Samoa Joe, Christian Cage, Adam Copeland, MJF, Lance Archer, Brian Cage, Jungle. Well, I don't know if he is or not. Kill Switch. You know what I mean? I don't know the roster that well. So Swerve Strickland, Adam Cole, baby. Maybe MJF. I don't know, but you get what I'm saying. Like Okada, Nick Jackson, Matt Jackson. Yeah, we're not going to do that. Get ready for tomorrow night when the Bucks show us that footage from All In. I don't think they're going to. I don't think it's going to be the footage. I think it's going to be a Punk, parody. I think it's going to be some sort of, little person with a costume. I don't know. I just don't think it's going to be what it is. Tony would probably sell AEW. Yeah, I mean, look, he probably would have just walked. Like, Tony would probably sell AEW before Billy Corgan would sell the NWA, I think. But like, and then who's buying though? Anyways, who's interested in buying? Don't get comfortable with banana nose and power. Well, look, if worst case scenario, if he does, and I'm forgetting his name right now, but it's on the tip of my tongue. The owner, not the owner, the guy who was running TNA is like right there. They just let him go. And he literally brought TNA from near extinction to where people actually cared again. The guy also owns the Border Championship Wrestling. I can't think of his name. Somebody will come up with it. AEW just needs writers and working programs that make sense. They have a huge roster. I think the biggest problem with AEW is like you said, there's too much. There might be too much talent and not enough time to showcase everybody. Okay, I'm sorry, but I can only take so much of no more of Alonzo and Corino. Diamore, thanks guys. Scott Diamore, that's it. Yes. Mike, you're not excited to see Alonzo and Corino? They've only wrestled like twice. Sorry, I didn't mean to keep clicking that. I think the footage will be real, but even it shows them 100% right, nobody will care. And the thing is, in the matter of public opinion, WWE fans don't give a shit about what AEW fans think. And with that being said, AEW fans don't care what the WWE fans think. And you're going to have a hard time convincing WWE fans to start watching AEW and vice versa. Like, there is a very tribalistic behavior between the two companies, and your diehard WWE fans are going to be diehard WWE fans no matter what. Same thing with AEW. And I don't care how you portray Punk, WWE fans aren't going to care. So, maybe there's some sour AEW fans about how Punk was handled, and maybe he was all wrong. Maybe Punk was the bad guy in all of it. Nobody's going to care, like DK said. I firmly believe that. Paladins, that's messed up. No, Jay, they do nothing for me as far as excitement for a match. Okay. Look, man, everyone is entitled to their opinion. I happen to like Joe Alonzo and Colby Corino. I'll be looking for it. I'd rather have needles in my eyes. Oh, geez. That's rough. There's more comments. My Paladin says he's a tribe member. Look, one of my best friends, I used to drag him to indie shows. I would take him to UPW shows. I'd take him to Pro Wrestling Guerrilla shows. He, to this day, still watches WWE. He has no time or patience for AEW, for TNA, for the NWA, nothing. He watches WWE. He's watched wrestling his entire life. He's a kid watching the WWE, and he still watches nothing but the WWE. And I've exposed him to other wrestling promotions, but he just likes that style of wrestling. He likes that style of storytelling. And there's nothing wrong with that. Likewise, I have friends who won't watch WWE, that will only watch AEW or TNA or whatever. And that's okay too. That's all good. They have basically acknowledged it's a ratings play. But there it is. I mean, how many of you guys are going to tune in to find out what happened? I mean, I'll probably watch the clips on the internet, personally, but I've been peeking my head in more these days with AEW because of Swerve. Swerve is a great talent, and I think that they missed the ball by not getting the title on him sooner. But like, Samoa Joe's my guy. Don't get me wrong. I love Samoa Joe. If it were up to me, Samoa Joe would still be the world champion. And you put Swerve somewhere else. But I don't know. Perry was lucky if all he got was choked a little, in my opinion. Perry has always come across as a spoiled rich kid. And the glass spot was proof of a petulant child acting out because they had been told no. If I'm going to lend my 2 cents to it, Jungle Boy kind of started off here in SoCal, but not in the traditional route. Now, the school that he went to was a school by Rick Drazen, who is not known for being one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. He's more known for his work as the in-between Lou Ferrigno and the actor that played Bruce Banner in the 70s Hulk TV show. He was a bodybuilder. He was a power lifter. and he wrestled in the early 70s or late 70s, early 80s at the Grand Olympic Auditorium. But Rick Drazen was never like a super fundamental wrestling trainer. And, when these guys don't really spend a lot of time, learning the ropes the right way. There was a talent, some of you guys might remember the name Super Dragon. He never was officially trained like by like a WWE company, but he did lucha libre training. And he was trained by American Wild Child, Ron Rivera out here. And he always had this negative reflection. People always thought that he was a bad guy because he didn't do things the traditional way. That's how I feel about Jack Perry. But also at the same time, I feel like that in AEW, it's part of like again, because it's not a traditional company. It wasn't a traditional pro wrestling company. You're asking wrestlers to take on leadership positions when you should probably have positions created for that. You should have agents and producers. And if a wrestler gets out of line, then you say, okay, go home and fire their ass. But I think too much Tony was letting the hens run the hen house, and then when Fox came in, it just kind of went astray. I am in a hotel room, Paladin. I'd give you guys the view, but it's kind of messy right now. We're on spring break, and I have some business out here in Arizona. I am in Arizona in a city called Chandler. And this is back the hotel that I stayed in when I was here for the Red Carpet Rumble. And it was the hotel that I stayed at when I went to the AEW show back in February. A school is supposed to teach you to wrestle, the basics. Some schools teach more, which is a plus. After school, you go to advance, and that's where you earn on the road. I think you meant learn on the road, or other schools that offer it. Yeah. And I'm not saying that Rick Drazen was, a bad teacher. But I feel like Jack Perry should have spent more time out on the indies. I can't even tell you where Jack Perry wrestled before AEW. I know who Jungle Boy is, but I don't remember him like wrestling on the independent circuit before he signed with AEW. He was worth more. Now that the cat is out of the bag, I can say this now. Perry, we had lots of remarks on friends of mine who brought gear because we didn't give him a discounted price. He thought he was worth more than a bet. Yeah, again, the analogy that he's a petulant child, the analogy that he, what Mike said about him. Look, I feel like with a lot of these guys, they didn't come up the right way. They didn't get the training. The WWE guys seem to have gotten that. The Young Bucks never went to like an official wrestling school. They kind of learned on their own. It's not the worst thing in the world, but I mean, okay, they did get some training. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. I don't think they got the right kind of training. And then also, too, etiquette is the thing of the past. Etiquette in pro wrestling has changed 100%. Back in the day, they would put a hit on you if you didn't go and shake everybody's hand in the locker room. If you were out there and you kept to yourself, you were an introvert, and you stayed in your side of the locker room, someone's going to shit in your bag. That's how it was back then. I think times are different now. And CM Punk is a product of that last bygone era of there's a wrong way and a right way to do things. Bully Ray said the same thing on his show. I don't know, man. Said Perry disrespected him. Yeah, I'm not trying to vouch for anybody here. I don't know Jack Perry. I don't know CM Punk. I can't make a comment about really either of them in terms of their integrity or who they are. I will say this. The workers took guns in their gym bags. I think we're talking like in the 60s or 70s. I don't think that's something that was happening in the 80s, but I could be wrong. But I will say this about CM Punk was also in that same class with Colt Cabana, with Adam Pearce. Those guys kind of came up in that same area with Christopher Daniels kind of leading the charge. So I don't necessarily think that they're more old school. Jack Perry is more modern. I don't know what to really make of any of it, to be quite honest. I don't know who's in the right. I don't know who really is in the wrong. If this video shows that, I mean, great. But again, I'm not going to hold my breath for it. Let's talk a little bit of NWA. Now, of course, we've got some big events coming up. Of course, you know, the NWA, one of the best things about this new let's deal with CW is that we're getting a lot of advance notice on events. Of course, one of the bad things is sometimes we get these shows announced way in advance. It's kind of hard to get behind. Now we know that this weekend, actually, I think Friday and Saturday, the TV tapings are going to be taking place in Fort Lauderdale, Tampa, excuse me. Yeah, so the tapings will be taking place April the 12th and April the 13th. That's this Saturday, Friday, Saturday. There'll be more TV tapings taking place. Of course, already announced is the Crockett Cup, which will be the next signature live event. That's taking place in May. The world title match has already been announced, or at least leaked. That Sam Adonis, aka El Rudo, makes his return to the NWA. He'll be taking on EC3. That's Ethan Carter to the third, if you're nasty, and he's challenging for the 10 pounds of gold. We know that that's going to be taking place on again, what is it, May the 18th? I'll be there. DK and I will be out there as long as he's still not sick. And then, of course, the next big event, next signature live event, is August 31st in the ECW Arena 2300. That's in Philly. If you didn't know, of course, no matches have been announced yet, but you look at that poster and I mean, there's some truths to there, right? There's some stuff there that makes it kind of feels like spoilers, right? Because we see Blunt Force Trauma with the tag titles, we see EC3 with the 10 pounds of gold, we see Kenzie Page with the Burke, we see Max with both TV titles. So it's kind of like posters could change, obviously, but it looks like this is where we're at now. And then, of course, the last event of the year that was announced like after the second event of the year, which is Looks That Kill. I'm not overly excited for a pay-per-view or signature live event that was announced in January for December 14th, but nevertheless, that's where it's at. And yeah, all right. Some more of you guys' comments real quick, and then I'll get back into the NWA talk. Of course, World's Heavyweight Champion was out there in the UK, had 3 title defenses over WrestleMania weekend. And yeah, I think I have some graphics. I don't have like actual like footage or anything, but he defended the title against Drew Marshall on Saturday. He defended the title against the Demon Damien, I believe that was on Friday, and then defended the title against Easton Rees on the 7th. So 3 title defenses for EC3 in the UK, which I think, again, let's celebrate what EC3 is doing right. He's defending the title almost everywhere he goes. He's got, gosh, if we listed all his defenses, Utah, California, Oklahoma, St. Louis, Missouri, maybe not Missouri, actually, come to think of it. No, Missouri. Yes, he did. Nashville, obviously, Florida. He's defended the title in a lot of places. I think that's great for the 10 pounds of gold. Still looking for a big time rival for EC3. And I think until we get one, the world title picture is going to be a little kind of boring, I guess. I haven't seen a name that's been put next to his, and I think, okay, this is the title that this is the time we're gonna lose the title. Okay, so for tonight, I think tonight's episode is obviously it's the first part of Hardtimes. Now, this is the first time that Hardtimes hasn't been a pay-per-view for the NWA, and this is also kind of interesting that the Hardtimes is taking place in a different month for every year that we've had it. Now, 2020 we saw Hardtimes taking place in January, and then it was in December, and then in November, and now it's being filmed in March. It was filmed in March at the Dothan Event Center in Alabama. And again, this is part one of the 4-part series where the signature live events are basically now TV tapings. So I think part of it the NWA gets it wrong by doing signature live events as opposed to pay-per-views, is that we waited all this time for this build for this event, and now it's a month old. And so, like, I don't have the same excitement level as I did when these matches were announced, and I have less interest in watching these. It's just, I'm going to still watch them, don't get me wrong, but it's definitely, I'm less invested in these matches. I think that's one thing that the NWA really got wronged here. Now, the 3 matches that are scheduled for tonight are the NWA World Junior Heavyweight Championship. Mr. NWA, Joe Alonzo, will be taking on Colby Corino for that junior heavyweight title. Colby, to his credit, has done everything you want your World Junior Heavyweight Champion to do, much like EC3. He's been around the world from London to the Bay. It's hammer, go, hammer, yo, MC, hammer. The rest can go and play. Can't touch this. No, but Colby Corino really has been all over defending the Junior Heavyweight Championship. Missouri, Tennessee, New Jersey, New York, Georgia, North Carolina, and Florida, Ohio, Massachusetts, and then, of course, tonight in Alabama, or back in March in Alabama. You got to take a lot of pride in a championship and a champion who's going to take that title everywhere. Where the NWA, it's getting closer to being a full-time wrestling promotion, and that sounds kind of condescending. I don't mean it to be. They're not quite there yet. You know, the WWE is running, 4 or 5 times a week. A lot of wrestling promotions are running, less than that. But the NWA is starting to almost run monthly now, which I think is a huge step forward, right progression, but it's still not enough. So when your world champion is out there defending other promotions, representing the NWA, I think it's a huge deal. And again, with Colby having over 20 defenses of the junior heavyweight title, definitely should be celebrated as one of the more active champions in the NWA in this time and space. And, has really been representing the NWA on that junior heavyweight level. So much appreciation for what Colby has done as champion, what he continues to do as champion. But the elephant in the room is Joe Alonzo. And I know Mike isn't a big fan of Joe Alonzo, but Joe Alonzo has been out there capturing the imagination of some fans. His promos are brutal. He's very vicious on what he says and how he delivers his promos. There's nobody's off limits. And so it'll be interesting to see what's going to happen with Colby Corino and Joe Alonzo tonight. Of course, if you watched it, let's keep the spoilers out of the chat, but those matches aired starting this morning at 7 a.m., so you've had time to watch it. If you haven't, cool. But that title match is coming up tonight. And then also on tap for tonight, we have it's kind of weird because you have this matchup between Magic Jake, Dumass, and Spencer Slade. Now, Spencer Slade was introduced to the NWA as part of the Spectaculars 2.0, and Magic Jake spent most of last year in a tag team with Magic Inc. But it seems like both of those teams are now kind of faded away. I'm not really sure what the status of Rush Freeman is, but we haven't seen a lot of him on TV. Although he was on TV last week, we haven't seen a lot of him since. We haven't heard much about him. I don't know what his contract status is with the NWA currently. So we're going to have this matchup between Spencer Slade, who has been he's such a great wrestler. He's such a good talent. And Magic Jake, and I'm sure this match will have implications towards whoever becomes the national champion, or maybe even the TV title and a shot at Max. But I really feel like this is going to be a very fun and interesting match. The last time we saw Magic Jake, he did a lot of good wrestling for once. Less of the carny, goofy shit and more pro wrestling. I'm not saying Magic Jake is my favorite wrestler by any stretch, but the last time I saw him, I was impressed with what he was doing in the ring, and I hope he's going to be doing that some more because we could definitely benefit from that. Steve G says, hey, smash the like button, and I appreciate that, Steve. If you guys could like the show, that'd be great. It helps with the AI, it helps with all that stuff, the algorithm. So I appreciate you guys doing that. Also, then the main event, we're going to see a return match from Paranoia. We are going to see Ella Envy and Kylie Alexa, aka Kylie Paige, challenge the women tag team champions, the King Beez, for those women tag team titles. Now, the thing about the King Beez is they're still out there defending those titles. They're, the promotions that they're associated with, Mission Pro, Dog Pound Wrestling. They're out there working still. We still know we have variations of Pretty Empowered, whether it be Kenzie and Alexa, or Kenzie and Kylie. I said Alexa. Kenzie or Ella, Kylie or Ella, Kylie or Kenzie. They're the three of them are very much like the Freebird rule of tag team wrestling. You see them pop up everywhere, not everywhere, but in a lot of places. And they're still getting their reps in as a tag team. So this one will be interesting. Of course, they lost the titles to Charity King and Danni B back at the Paranoia live event back in January 19th. So it's funny because like this match really only took place about a month after a month and a half after the titles, but it's felt like years. And so it'll be fun to see this match tonight. Of course, Danni B and Charity King really gave Pretty Empowered a run for their money last time we saw them. We haven't seen a lot of them in the NWA because, let's be honest, the women's division hasn't been great in the NWA. But hopefully we'll get some good action tonight, and hopefully, as we go closer to the Crockett Cup, we start seeing more and more female talent kind of pour into the NWA. Missa Kate and Maddie Rankowski were a great tag team, but we don't have a lot of great tag teams right now for the women's division. So that's something that I feel like they could certainly benefit from. Paladin says Pretty Empowered is the best thing about the NWA. I mean, it's hard to argue that. Let me say that. It's hard to argue against that. They're great, and I feel like Pretty Empowered would work in any other wrestling promotion right now. There's a lot of good things about the NWA. Silas Mason is certainly somebody I think is a lot of fun to watch. Tom Latimer is another person that's very fun to watch. I like Kerry Morton. I like the Southern Six. Blunt Force Trauma is a fun tag team to watch. The the Immortals are fun to watch. There's even Murdoch's is fun to watch. I don't have a problem with the NWA. I think they have a lot of bright spots. Just wish that we get showcased a little bit better, a little bit more frequently. And so I'm excited for, of course, the Hardtimes. I think you guys should be too. I won't be able to do a watch along tonight, guys. So I have to skip it this week. I will be back next Tuesday to do that with you, but I won't be able to do it tonight. Paladin says, I saw their interview yesterday live on the NWA podcast. I enjoyed it. They are great. Kylie is such a good wrestler. Ella is great on the mic. They're all really good on the mic. They're very good at being the Pretty Empowered triumvirate, if you will. And I feel like they are the cornerstone of the NWA's women division for sure. I'm sorry, Mike. I'm in Arizona. I got to go get my wife and kids at Legoland. So we're going to wrap it up here. I do want to say thanks to everybody for checking out the channel, watching the shows. Of course, we have 3 regular live streams each and every week here on the Alliance blog. Of course, you've got me, the pre-party on Tuesdays. On Wednesdays, you have the other Alliance guys, Jeremy and Dave Scooby. They're always here doing a lot of fun. Talk MLW United Wrestling Network. And then on Thursdays, we'll probably have, it is the other, let me try that again. It is the Alliance guys, the OG program. And what we'll be talking about, I'm not sure. Probably a little bit of NWA, maybe a little bit of AEW with the whole controversy of what happens, the fallout of the released footage. And then we'll probably be talking about Cody being World Heavyweight Champion because, damn, Cody was one of ours. One of ours won, guys. Former World Heavyweight Champion solidified his greatness first by winning the 10 pounds of gold and later winning the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. And I think that is something that all NWA fans should get behind. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you guys each and every Tuesday, and we'll be back here next Tuesday. But until next time, as soon as I can find a clip, we will see you at the matches. Thanks for checking out the pre-party, a presentation of Alliance-Wrestling.com. You should hit that subscribe button and join our community. I also want to remind you that we recap NWA POWERRR every Thursday at 8 p.m. in the live stream. We try to stay social, so find us at the Alliance blog. And until next time, we